We're back here live from the Western Sizzlin as we are with the Leo Brotherhood, and they're here today for our luncheon, but also these special men that are here to an event that took place in 2012 on December the 15th. These men that are in law enforcement, we'll hear more about that story. It's written about, covered by the press, a shootout that started in Heflin. But these men are here today as they commemorate their time. So we're going to go join them now.
The biggest reason is we meet during December every year. I mean, we have our annual and monthly long-looking fellowships to honor everybody. You know, that's in school badges in law enforcement and still active duty. But on December 15th of 2012, when they had the bad shootout where Jackie wound up getting shot, and we like to try to honor Jackie in December of every year for this, to commemorate the anniversary, basically, of a traumatic event, and where Jackie almost lost his life that day. And I'm just going to kind of go into a little detail for the ones that maybe never ever heard the story or heard our version of it. The best I can remember, on December 12th of 2015, I was the only deputy on duty for Cleveland County that morning, and I remember getting a call to come back to the jail to do a report involving a young boy that was sexually molested, and his father was wanting to meet me at the jail with the son, and they wanted me to do a report at the jail for him. So while I was there typing it up, I got another call that came in where there's a lady on I-20 at the 210 exit, somebody going about 70 miles per hour down the road, just suddenly threw his girlfriend out the door of the car on the interstate. And I told the man to hold up that if he could wait there and wait on me, I need to go take care of this other call. And then the sheriff suddenly called me, and he said, well, that's the same call involving the young boy got molested as the one he had to deal with the day before, and there was it was totally different people. And then I explained to the sheriff, said, I got to get to I-20, the woman just got thrown out on the interstate. And so he said, well, go ahead and stay there and take care of that call, and I'll get Terry Turner to come in a little early, because the officer lived right there at that interstate firework place. And he was supposed to come in anyway at 1 o'clock that day. It was already probably around 10, 11 in the morning. So he kind of was going to handle that for me. But before I could sit down and start typing on this other report, I got another call. There's a man with an assault rifle at the Guns and Trailer Park walking around with an assault rifle in the trailer. And I kind of, at first, I kind of just thought, well, it's just deer season, and that's a real wooded area, rural area. It may be just somebody, wanting to go shoot his gun, or, as long as he's not shooting at somebody. At the moment, I didn't take it as a serious threat, and I went ahead and started the report for the young boy, father of the boy that had been sexually molested. Well, then the call came out that shots had been fired, and there's people running. So then I'm like, well, I gotta go. So I responded to that call. I asked to get the fellow to wait till I get back. I could get back with him after I took care of this other call. And before I even got into Heflin good, then I heard Jackie and another officer, Scott Lynn, was on the radio, and they heard the calls a lot too. And they were already on that end of town, so they went ahead and started preparing to head that way too. All right, as soon as I was going through Heflin, full lights and sirens. I was booking. And when I got on the other end of Heflin, when I got on Highway 9, I was probably 2 or 3 miles out from the first contact of the vehicle that was firing shots. And I heard Winslet call out on the radio. He goes, Jamie, I just made contact with that vehicle on Highway 9, and he's coming he's coming back at you. And I had just given dispatch my location, I guess, too, let them know I was around on Highway 9. And soon as he said that, I was going down a curve, and I met this car coming by, and there was a guy behind him with a rifle out the window shooting at these people. And then all of a sudden I met Wednesday. He had already done a turnaround on Highway 9 and was coming back into town. And then I had to wait till Wednesday passed me before I could do my turnaround. And then we both were following this guy who was shooting at this woman and the passengers in the vehicle in front of
By that SUV Chevrolet.
and they come on down Highway 9 coming back into town, and they pulled into the parking lot there. I forgot the name of that business.
Go Jack's Friday.
Yeah. And instead of cutting in the first drive, Winslet, the bad guy and the people that shooting at, they cut in that first drive. Winslet went in right behind them, and I went on down to the second drive so I could come in and we could kind of box them in. But before I got to that second drive, that's when I met Jackie. And he cut in right in front of me, and then I just cut in behind Jackie.
That was the door with the place.
Mm-hmm. And Jackie and Winslet was the first ones to make contact with the bad guy. He opened that door and he come out, and Jackie was like, near that wall, it was point blank. When the muzzle fire from that gun went off, I was shocked not to see Jackie go down with him, because he was right there. I mean, he was right there. He had to felt the heat from the muzzle fire from that AK. I mean, he was letting it have it. And I remember I got out of my patrol car, come around the front, and I started shooting, but all I could see was the side of the vehicle and the rear of the vehicle that the bad guy was in. So the best I could hope for was just to shoot through the back glass and try to suppress his fire, keep him from, shoot Jackie as best I could, or trying to hit him. I just fired right in there to stop the threat, basically. I just seen muzzle flashes, and Jackie and Winslet was right there, point blank. I mean, I was a little further from here to the wall. I was probably about twice that far from the bad guy, but Jackie was real close. I do remember that. I just seen debris flying off of Winslet's vehicle, and because the bad guy was shooting into that vehicle, and Winslet, later I found out he just rolled out the door on the far side, and on the ground, keep from getting shot inside the vehicle. But the bad guy, he gassed it, went on past, when me and Jackie started shooting at him. He went on across Highway 9 and just went straight across and went off in a little depression light and just stopped. And the engine was running, and he was kind of slumped over the steering wheel, and I thought we got it. And I walked out there almost to him, and all of a sudden he raised up, and he just like shook his head back, and next thing I know, boom, he stomps it, he spins out, and up Highway 9 he goes. Well, me and Jackie, we gave chase. And we go down Highway 9, and there was about a quarter of the way down Highway 9, he starts weaving in the road, and he slows down, and just comes to a stop. And I thought, well, it may have bled out. I don't know. I was just hoping we'd hit him, But he got out of that car, and I got out of my patrol car, and I was going up there to him and yelling for him to drop his weapon. And there was 2 or 3 cars pulled up right in front of him, oncoming traffic. I was trying to wave them off because they was in the line of fire. If I'd had it started, I couldn't shoot because they was in the line of fire. But the bad guy, he could shoot back at me and Jackie. And but the bad guy, instead of shooting at us at that point, he just turned around, faced away from us, held the AK up in the air, and he squatted down like he was going to lay the AK down on the ground. In the last instant, and I had already done walk a little closer on up to him, I thought he was going to surrender. He just jumped back in the car and gassed it and took off again. And away we went again, down Highway 9. And Jackie followed me on into Hollis, and Winslet, he said he's real low on gas, his windshield been shot real bad. And I radioed and told him, said, well, somebody needs to go back to the sheriff department or go find that lady and make sure she's safeguarded at the police station or the sheriff department in case this bad guy gets away from us and circles around and comes back and tries to finish her off for whatever reason he was shooting at her to begin with. And so me and Jackie, we chased the guy all the way from Heffron down Highway 9 to Hollis, and then from Hollis all the way up 431 back into Calhoun County, and we went across the interstate and then on the Highway 78, and I was radioing ahead to let dispatch know to contact Calhoun County and notify the state trooper's office, give them our direction of travel, which way we was heading, what was happening. And me and Jackie, we were having to dodge bullets on the all the way to Oxford. This guy was still figuring out a way to get that gun out and was trying to shoot back at us to deter us, to back off. And at times I'd have to back way off, but then I'd gas it. When I knew he got into the bad curve right before we get to in 431, before we got to I-20, I knew I could catch up game on the ground there and still hopefully not get shot. So he was like swerving and running people off the road, hitting road signs. He was just reckless driving, and he was going real fast. That little car he was in, I remember it was all ass. And but when we got on 78, he turned into Oxford dispatch to let him know that trooper office been notified, and then that's when Trooper Lewis he made contact with him. As I was coming down 78, me and Jackie, Trooper Lewis was going to try to spike. He was going to try to spike him out. Or he wouldn't. He was just going to shoot his tires out.
Pull off the roadway sideways.
Really? I saw John just cut loose on the tire, on the tires as he went by, and I was like, oh hell, I was so close behind the guy. It made me nervous too, because I was afraid I was going to run right through the line of fire. But John jumped his car, come on, followed right in behind us. And as soon as we got into Oxford near the turnpike, the bad guy was able to turn onto the turnpike. There's a lady sitting at the intersection there where it was coming in to red light, and she let him go by, but when I started to go by, she just pulled out right in front of me. It scared her, I guess, and so I had to hit my brakes, and Jackie, he had to shoot around me to keep from hitting me in the rear end. He took the high side in the oncoming traffic lane, because the guy was trying to get to the interstate. He was going to try to block him from getting to the interstate. And as I finally got by the lady, and as I did, I looked up and I saw Jackie. When the bad guy tried to go up the lane, because it was the only path he had to get to the overpass to get to the interstate exit. And Jackie done probably the most perfect pit maneuver I've ever seen in my whole life. He hit that guy and spun his ass out, buddy. And then, but when the guy stopped, I come in from the right side, and me and Jackie kind of had a boxed in light, and there was cars in front of him, so he couldn't go further in his vehicle, but he got out. And the first thing he did, he went to the car right in front of me, and he went up to the window and held the AK up to the window like he was going to shoot the driver, and he grabbed the doorknob, and that's when he had the gun up like this, he was holding it like, I can't remember if he was holding it like that or one hand. I do remember he let go of it just long enough to grab the doorknob. He was going to try to open that door. And that's when I shot 3 times. Boom, boom, boom. And he just kind of like staggered like he'd been, and he acted like he'd been stung by a bee. He just kind of shook it off like, and then he turned around and he kind of started going up his incline, going uphill like. He stumbled forward and he caught his balance. I thought he was going to go on down and hit the ground, but he caught his balance. And he managed to get around the cars that was in front of us. And there was people running, it looked like that movie Jaws, where all the people were screaming and hollering. There was more people at that intersection that day than I've ever seen, I reckon. And
was out there too.
people were just jumping out of their vehicles and running back and forth. And so like, he could shoot it up, but after that, my first shots, I could not shoot at that time. And Jackie, he had a better line on him. Jackie, he had fired at him, and right about the same time, I guess, when I was shooting at him. But was you reloading or just turning around when the guy come up around the vehicle and then y'all met face to face, and then that's when he...
That's where I took off. I thought he was going to get in the first car, because he didn't make it in that last one. They pulled the door and it didn't open. I thought he was going to get in with the first car, so I took off after him. I wasn't this far from getting covered. And this problem just spun me around.
I didn't actually see Jackie when he got shot. I do remember seeing the top of his head as he moved forward, and I remember I was trying to wave it didn't do real good to holler because my siren was still on with my blue lights. And I seen the guy going around, and I was like, oh no, he's gonna run right in his jacket, he's gonna run right in his jacket. And sure enough, then boom, here's a gunshot, and then I get on up there and get on this side of it, and as I'm coming by, he's standing there leaned over like he's fixing to shoot at something, but I didn't know it was Jackie at the time. From the angle I was, I couldn't see Jackie on the ground, but he was fixing to shoot Jackie, I reckon. And I remember I shot one time, and after that, I remember later I was worried. I was like, man, I hope we don't find no dead person in one of them hotels down there past the Cracker Barrel, because I was shooting right in a bad place, kind of like. But I knew I had to get that guy's attention. He was fixing, everything was a little slow computing, but he was fixing to shoot Jackie. And as I went up past where Jackie had fell, I looked to my right and I saw Jackie laying there, and there was a puddle of blood big as this little wound. And his leg was bent in a way that was not natural. And he was lifeless. He looked like he was dead. And I remember this panic went over me, like, oh my God, And I remember the bad guy, I seen his head pop up. And that's when he started back shooting, and we were kind of like bobbing for apples. He was out there on the overpass, and he was getting behind cars. He was trying to find one he could open the door and get in the car. And I was screaming, telling people to get out of the way. And I said, well, where is he? Because there was people in the car looking at me. And I was like, do you see him? Because I can't. He's on the other side of the vehicle, and he's squatted down. And I couldn't shoot, so I felt real helpless. And next thing I know, I heard somebody scream, well, he just took my car, and there's a boy laying on the ground. And I looked up and had a pink breast cancer awareness sticker in the window. And I called dispatch, said he just jumped in the vehicle, and he's headed back toward Greenbrier, and he's in a vehicle that's got a pink breast cancer awareness Alabama sticker in the back window. And then that's when Calhoun County, I remember I seen the guy that's the sheriff of Calhoun County right now. He arrived on the scene. I seen him pull up, and then I was making my way back to Jackie. And by the time I got to Jackie, Trooper Lewis was already working on him and applying pressure to his groin area to stop the bleeding. And I want to say there was a nurse lady that came up there during that time frame too, or whatever, which you must have got to him like real fast, right? You was probably right behind me when I went up there.
I saw the bullet hit his leg, blood squirted out the front, leg twisted, blood came out the back. So as soon as he shot, I was on my.
You were out in the open with him then.
I couldn't see really, I could only see Jackie. Cause there was a car here, my car here.
John, when he pulled up.
Jackie was this side,
He
I
was
was
this
this
side.
side.
Running low on ammo too.
Jackie had, I believe Jackie hit him, we both hit him a few times before we ever got there, but later they determined he was so pumped up on meth that he was like a zombie or something. It was like, wish he shot him in the brain or spine him or something, he went down real quick. But he managed to get in another vehicle, made it far enough up the road. The Anderson SWAT team made contact with him, and he wrecked out. And
Bob Yancey was officer. It was Bob Yancey was officer.
it was Oxford SWAT team, okay. They made contact with him and basically finished him off. He was shot up pretty bad when they got done with him or whatever, but they found, I remember talking to one of the Oxford guys saying they thought he'd been shot with a shotgun because there was bigger bullet holes and some of the 223 holes in him. And I told him that was mine and Jackie's 40 caliber because then nobody shoot him with a shotgun out of holes unless Jackie did.
They used AR-15s.
Yeah. They said he never actually fired at them. They just ordered him to drop the weapon and he just held on to it. But he was laying in the bottom of the car and said he was just kind of flopping around. And they finished him off. But he won't bother nobody else again, thank God. And they found out he'd been deported 2 or 3 different times. He was a major drug dealer. Then arrested for trafficking cocaine in the past. And
Did he not shoot the baby's arms?
he broke this, and we found out later in the trailer park, he murdered 3 people that morning, and took a young boy who was like 8 or 9 years old and cut his arms all the way through the bone, and then broke his arms. And then later the boy had, I know one of his arms got amputated, I don't know if he lost both of them.
That was the bush knife we found on 9 outside the Brotherhood place at P&T Club.
Mm-hmm.
He killed his 3 brothers.
Yeah.
Because his wife got pregnant while he was in Mississippi, Mexico. And he heard about it, and that's why he came back to the U.S. Some brothers who got killed.
I always feel like, actually me and Jackie and Mr. John all got a piece of him anyway, and took a whole group of people to get him. He was wide open, and he was shooting crazy with that AK, and all we had was 40 cals, but that's the one day out of the whole year that I didn't carry an AR-15 in my car. Because I give mine to my son an early Christmas, and I was just gonna get me another one. Because he was planning on riding reserve with Kevin King. But it'll be a day I'll never forget, and I always, the story in my book, whenever I do get finished and published, I titled the name of the story as A Cold Day in Hell. Because it was cold that day, but it was like living hell. But me and Trooper Lewis didn't get it near as bad as Jackie. Jackie, he got shot with an AK-47, and that bullet shattered his femur artery, his femur leg bone. And how many surgeries have you had now? 21 surgeries. So it's a continuing living hell for him. It will be for the rest of his life. And I want to say right now, I don't feel like I deserved any of the awards I got rid of. I feel like, Jackie, Trooper Lewis here deserved everything. I just did the best I could to stay alive.
Been suppressing.
I have a lot of guilt because Jackie got shot after I shot the guy, and I'm usually considered a pretty good shot, but it's a lot different when you're actually shooting at a live person with a gun.
Yeah, you were doing suppressive fire while I was at Jackie.
But
If you weren't taking his attention away from, us, we would have been shot.
I
So
give him,
you did your part, God put you where you were supposed to be, to shoot him on
I've told a lot of people over the years, I said, we shot, moved, and communicated as a team like we have always worked stuff like that together. And that's the first time we ever worked with all together. But because of the experience these guys had in the training, my training, and it all come together that day. And it saved a lot of lives more than what we realized. But I give both of y'all credit for saving my life, because at times during that shootout, it probably got me if it hadn't been for y'all. What y'all were doing. So it's like, I feel like everybody, all 3 of us, we saved each other's lives. And I love these guys like brothers, and I always will. Appreciate you, and I couldn't have thought of anybody else better to something like that ever happen again. I know y'all are on my back, and I appreciate it.
Jamie actually met the kid. Officially, the kid is dead. So they renamed the kid, the one that had his arm amputated, they flew him over to Georgia. And they told the public he's dead, but Jamie actually met him a few months ago when he told me.
I met the family.
But officially he is dead.
I met the family of the boy, and I asked him to contact him to see if there's any way that I could invite him to one of our dinners, and I told him I offered to give to send the mother money to buy him Christmas. And that was supposed to relay the message, and then later when I talked to the lady that was friend of the family or whatever that knew him, she talked like they just want to let it go. They don't want to even be reminded or brought up.
And there was a little girl there too. What I understand.
I never went to the, I've been to Patterson where the murder took place, but I was chasing the guy, and me and Jackie was, and we, at the time, we didn't know he had murdered anybody. We found that out after we got the shit out of him.
And the AK-47 actually was bought from Don Lee Trailer Park from a drug dealer. And it's hanging up in Oxford Police Department as a reminder of the danger out there on the streets. It actually, the AK-47, how would you describe it? A piece of junk? Because it has like bolts or loads put through it, just to hold it together. But Bob Yancey, he made the weapon where it cannot fire. Then they put it in a huge plaque, and it's worth going to see if you ever go to Oxford Police Department.
I remember those three bullet casings, those first three shots. They definitely found a bunch of bullet casings, but not where I shot.
In the door window place.
But at the scene in Oxford, we couldn't find a bullet casing that night. I got it on camera. I shot him, but I don't know what bullets. And later, on the way, when I was leaving, they were in the rack where the strobe lights or whatever. It was up there, and I was thinking, golly, I ain't never, noticed. I never shot standing outside a patrol car. I mean, I'm guessing they just arched over and landed up there and wedged, and they started trickling down on the windshield as I was going home. And I stopped and called Michael Gordon, giving him the ADR.
Next day, officers got reports from like Cracker Barrel and from private citizens and some of the hotels that there were bullet holes that they found the next day in those buildings. Where you guys were exchanging fire back and forth.
Well, they didn't come with guns.
All that day up in Hampton, after y'all went to Oxford, everybody was worried about y'all, and look how they called in, and everybody said, Jackie Snow all over the house.
Mr. Rollins told us that we had the TV program, the Veterans TV program there, Channel 24 station was right there across from where the shootout was, and he said there was a guy up on top of the building working, and he said there was AK-47 rounds. He was whizzing by him. So I just figured I'd reiterate, if we keep telling it and pass it on to our grandkids, I guess, we won't forget it until we get dementia, I guess.
We're gonna pass it back like we did last year.
We don't have time, Jackie, as a doctor.
We're not gonna do it later.
I'm not, I guess. The more you keep telling the story, the more you talk about it, the easier it gets, and the better you can heal faster. And that's what this group is about, is healing. Helping each other.
Two wars, I'd be involved in this one. Yeah.
There's, Jamie's car had the in-dash video, and I've got it on YouTube if y'all haven't seen it. You can search it, or I'll put it back up before the 15th and post it on my Facebook page. But you can see everything from Jamie's, from where he's shooting back at us while we're chasing him to where I actually get shot and fall between the cars.
They edited the video a little bit. I noticed that you don't hear any of my radio talk on there. They omitted all that and everything. But I was talking the whole time. But I guess they did that for liability and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or just some kind of law that won't allow them to something.
Well, I personally, we've been live here today. I appreciate you sharing this, and I thank you all for your service. We as citizens, how blessed we are to have men and women that protect and serve. The dedication to your work, the dedication to your risking your life every time you answer that call. So thank you today for having me here. It's great to be a part of the Leo Brotherhood. Because of that reason, because I like to share with the public the behind the things that they very seldom get to see, very seldom get to know. And so it's been a privilege today to be with you and an honor. So thank you very much for sharing with this story. There's many people that may have read the article back in 2012, but like everything else, time does heal things. The public forgets, but you will never forget because you lived it. And so today, as we relive the events that took place, I hope that as you're tuned into this program, wherever you may see it, just know to honor those who honor us every day by protecting and serving, because the job that I do, there's not anyone shooting at me. I mean, every day that you answer a call, you never know what that call may lead to. So thank you, and God bless each and every one of you. You mean the world to me. And as we sign off from here, we appreciate the Western Sizzlin again today for giving us the opportunity to bring you this live broadcast.